Yep, I think we're all live. We're live. We are live. Hi, guys. Live. Oh my God, since Facebook will not let me play music, so I will play with my mouth. Live. Oh, we are live. Hey, we are live. Straight up with all my is live. Oh, we are live. Hi guys.
Network is too much. If you free us, let's play small music from time to time.
I'm telling you, you can't play music. You can't do nothing. So it's horrible now. I don't know how I mean, they're making Facebook becoming more boring and
more boring with all these
I don't know.
rules. Too stringent, I beg.
I'm telling you. Hi guys, I think I can see so many of you.
Hi, my name is Oma, your host on Straight Talk with Oma. Straight Talk with Oma is an online magazine program designed to bring divergent opinions on conversations around social, political, religious, and cultural. It was birthed in 2020 amidst the coronavirus pandemic and the exigencies of the time. In 2020, we had over 15 episodes with over 10 credible panelists on our program. I'd like to take this moment to thank all our panelists for 2020 for a job well done. May I also thank our viewers, our friends, our fans for your likes, your comments, and your shares.
Hi, Jenny. Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk with Oma. Today's special edition celebrating the Nigerian Girl Child, or the World Girl Child, International Girl Child Day. So I'd like to welcome everyone joining us. Thank you so much. Just before I welcomed you, you overheard me talking with my guest tonight about the restrictions we have been experiencing on Facebook or with Facebook. There's so much restrictions that we can't even play music. No matter the music you want to play, they will have to mute the music. So it's becoming more boring. But then it's a challenge. I think I will soon go to the studio to record a song, a jingle for Straight Up with Oma. Again, I'd like to apologize for Taki Network, who may be going off and on. I'm really having issues with my network tonight. I have two MiFis here. I would not want to call the names of the providers, service providers, but then I have two MiFis here and I've been juggling between one and the other, so it's a bit difficult. But I want to ask you to please bear with us tonight. I also told my guest that in case I go off, she becomes both the guest and the host. So, guys, so please accommodate her, show her love. Thank you, Koti, for always understanding. Thank you so much, babes. Thank you. Yes, so Nanajao. More so that it's raining here in Abuja, the nation's capital. It's raining, so that's a very good excuse for them. Hello, Dr. Jennifer. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This time last year, you were our guests on Straight Talk with Oma as we had a very fantastic conversation around the girl child. And so this year, I'm glad you're joining us on the or from the other side. Thank you so much. For everyone that is joining already and I'm not seeing, both from my guests and I want to say thank you and welcome to Straight Talk with Oma. Today, in commemoration of the 2021 International Day of the Girl Child, may I recap the history of the Girl Child or the Day of the Girl Child. In 1995, at the World Conference on Women in Beijing, the need for an event focused on young and vulnerable girls was identified. The initiative began as a non-governmental government international plan of action to address the challenge faced by young women. A resolution to declare October 11 as the International Day of the Girl Child was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on December 19, 2011. In 2020, this marked 25 years of the adoption of the Beijing Declaration. Earlier this year, Earlier this year, the Generation Equality Forum, that's another advocacy forum, Generation Equality Forum, set technology and innovation as a priority in global conversations on gender equality, with a deepening call for commitment in building more inclusive digital societies by providing reasonable opportunities for girls, advancing feminist technology, and positioning the girl child and the young women at the center of the digital world solutions. According to the United Nations, digital inclusion and literacy open new avenues to learning, earning, and leading for girls, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. It noted that the pandemic has deepened and online safety, with girls facing economic and social barriers to internet and device access. Against this background was the theme for this year's celebration, Digital Generation, Our Generation, coined to empower and amplify the voices of the young girls around the world and increase awareness of issues young women face. Today on Straight Talk with Oma, in line with our tradition and advancing our contributions to the celebration, is our special guest, Esiri Ukeuke-Uduaghan. Esiri is a Nigerian legal practitioner. Let me just embolden my guest so that you see her. Let me give her the full screen. Yes. Esiri, yeah. Esiri Ukeuke-Uduaghan is a Nigerian legal practitioner. She is the managing partner at her own law firm, Gerald Raphael and Partners, GRP. And she is also the CEO of an organic cosmetic line known as TJaimi Essentials. I don't know if I got that name well.
TJaimi Essentials.
TJaimi. So she is the CEO of an organic cosmetic line known as TJaimi Essentials. She will be found on IG at TJaimi Essentials. You'll find her there. She is a feminist, women's rights advocate, a social campaigner committed to social reorientation against the plights of women and children. Esiri runs a Facebook legal clinic for the benefit and protection of women in precarious marital, family, and social conditions on pro bono. Pro bono means free consults, everything, free legal consults, anything you want. She runs a pro bono for women. And I like to say again, every woman who is going through whatever challenge it is, you have an opportunity to reach out to Esiri Ukeuke-Uduaghan. She's on Facebook. She's my friend. If you can't find her on my page. You will find her. You need that help. Please reach out. And for me, what a pleasant way of dealing with the topic today because it is all about your voice. And we have a master in that regard, someone who is committed to ameliorating and helping women become a better, people become better than they were or have solution. So today is all about you, woman, girl, child. If you need to speak to someone, if you're in a situation that requires legal backing, legal assistance, whatever in divorce or any situation, rape, and you need help, please reach out to Esiri. She has a foundation or she's running a legal clinic on pro bono. Esiri is a writer, and while before we came on live too, I told her I pride myself as a writer. Yeah. But man, when I came in contact with Esiri, I realized that all this one when I dey fancy for my page. Hey, when is your book coming out? Hey, what is your this? Hey, hey. Man, I know sabi write. Man, I go read her. Man, I go read her page. When I go her page, you will know who writes. I'm just a kindergarten when it comes to writing, but I'm deeply grateful that I'm connected with her now. You know, God has an amazing way of connecting us to people who share the same value that we share. And truly, she shares my kind of value. So Esiri is a writer, and currently she's building a career in freelance writing. Esiri loves music. I love music. Esiri likes traveling. I am a traveler. And Esiri likes reading. I'm not too good there, but I can't sit still to read for a long time. I have a problem of that. So, but I read, Sha.
That happens to people who have a very busy head. It's difficult to read. Yes, too much going on.
I can't sit in a place for a long time reading. Yeah. Esiri is passionate and Esiri is a passionate and committed mother to her lovely sons. Esiri joins us from Lagos, Nigeria. Hello, Esiri, and welcome.
Hello, Omar. So good to be here with you today. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so beautiful. I said it before, and I'd like to say it again on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. So I have my guests will be seeing some comments I'll be sharing on the screen. And we have with us here our media assistant on Straight Talk with Omar. I have Lillian here. Lillian Chinetugo Briggs. Lillian is the media assistant to Straight Talk with Omar. Lillian, welcome. I see you started your work already. Yes, she will be guest and host if you can't
guest
find
and
me.
Host at the same time.
Absolutely. All right. So, so we need to kickstart our conversation, Esiri. I would like to start from the very beginning. Why is it important to have the International Day of the Girl Child?
Well, you know, for so many years, prior to a couple of years, there has been so much emphasis on the male child. Even in Nigeria, within our customs and traditions, there's still a lot of emphasis on the male child. Therefore, in trying to push forward gender, to dispel gender disparity and to push forward gender equality, we have come up with the International Day of the Girl Child, just to put the girl child in focus, you know, to put the girl child in focus, to draw attention to the issues concerning the girl child, to put us under the limelight, to make us have a sense of belonging in a society and an environment that seeks to undermine us, that has built structures to undermine that gender. It's not for funfair, actually. It's really and truly a time where we evaluate the gender gap and find how much we've been able to narrow it down. We're looking at issues that are still bordering on the girl child that cause or that create that gender disparity. And then we're looking at ways and manners in which we can do better. And then we have these discussions. It's a reorientation period. It's also an orientation period. It's an education period, really, for everyone to understand what the issues are, you know, that feminism embodies, and how each one of us can play a part in doing something about it to change the situation. So that's why we have that day. We have to take that day out of every year to be able to do this. It's very important.
Okay. Thank you so much. So what is your understanding of this year's theme? Like I said earlier, it's the digital generation, our generation. Yes. So what is your understanding of the theme, and is it significant to the Nigerian girl child?
Oh, I'll answer the second first. It is indeed very significant to the Nigerian girl child. And my understanding of that theme, it says digital generation, our generation. It's a beautiful theme, I think. Yes, the digital generation is indeed our generation. It's why the slogan was trending and is still trending. The future is female at a time. It's been trending, you know. Yeah. And I think a lot of people misunderstand what it means when that, you know, what that slogan actually means. They seem to think, oh, it's saying that the men will take a back seat, or the men will now move to the back. And now the future it's women that will be in front. But no, that's not what it's saying. It's saying it's time that we create a balance where there has been inequality by focusing on the female in this future that we're coming into. I mean, where there is inequality and you're trying to create a balance, you see that you put more here to take it up here, or you put less, you take some out of this, take it down here. But something has to change. Therefore, the future is female is basically saying, let's put more focus on the girl child to be able to take the girl child up here in the future and create a balance, you know. And it's also saying basically that the female child has been waiting for a moment like this. The female child has been hungry. The female child has been passionate to be able to take on the roles that they've been denied over the years. So, and this is the time and the opportunity where we can actually do that. And how do I tie this in with the digital generation? For the first time, because of the platforms that the digital platforms that have become available to us, the girl child has an avenue to project her voice without a lot of suppression and oppression. For example, Oma, look at you completely running a show on a digital platform. If you had proposed the show, if you had sat down and written a lovely proposal and taken this show to NTA, for example, AIT, for example, you would have met with a lot of bottlenecks. For some, you might actually have to pass through the sexism issues, the discrimination issues, the sexual harassment issues to get the influence that you need to get this on air. But thanks to the digital platform, you are here.
Absolutely.
This show is on, and you're reaching people all over the world, literally, just from your page. In the same vein, you met me on this digital platform. You've read my writings. I have been able to express myself uninhibited. What platforms existing right now in Nigeria would allow me say the kind of things that I want to say and the kind of things that I do say on my wall? Would any church allow me step on their pulpit and talk to women like this? No. Will the schools in Nigeria allow me talk to young girls and say these things that I say? No. Most of this, all the societal structures have been empowered with patriarchy. They have been empowered and emboldened with patriarchy. So that it keeps, and so the digital platforms have given us that opportunity to be this expressive. Let's talk about businesses, for example. I mean, there are a lot of females, like I said, that would have been groped and grabbed just trying to land, you understand, some kind of success on their career paths. We can even take, for example, the comedy industry. Look at Kiki, who got, I think she got an award from Pulse yesterday or thereabout. Kiki, the comedian. Imagine that girl had to go through the system that was available before to be able to show what it is that she can do and to show her material and to show her capabilities. A lot of the times, the issue with sexism is that women get suppressed in such circumstances. And because of that, we are not allowed to further our careers. We're not given the opportunity to show what we can do. It's such a boys' club in so many of these industries that for a woman to break in, she might have to debase herself. She might have to debase herself to be able to break it. But Kiki would not need to do that because from her Instagram page, from her YouTube page, from her Facebook page, she can put her skits together and put it out there. And she would grow a massive followership. She would start to, attract adverts and then start to make money on that page. And people will start to patronize her material just because. And she's already out there. She's already recognized.
Yes.
I mean, when I talk about Kiki, we're talking about a current sensation. Let's go to people like Linda Ikeji. What did Linda Ikeji build on? What did she build on? She built on the digital platform. How about Bella Naija, for example? Bella Naija built on the digital platform, So the digital generation is really the generation for the woman because it empowers us in so many ways. How about education acquisition, knowledge acquisition? A lot of people who didn't have the opportunity to go to school or who can't even afford to learn a skill by paying for reputable businesses that offer trainings. A lot of them have been able to begin to get into business literally by learning online, on YouTube, follow the guides, and all of this, you just have to buy data really, and that's about it. You keep practicing, and practice makes perfect. A lot of people have learned, they've been self-taught, tailoring, cream making, that's organic cream making, for example, soaps and all of this. And all that information is online. A woman who didn't go to school, a woman who didn't have that opportunity, who was discriminated against for one reason or the other, the digital platform has created an opportunity for her to learn a skill and to be able to earn from learning that skill on that platform. I don't have a physical shop for my cosmetic business. I don't have a physical shop for it. I'm strictly an online organic, cosmetic seller. I started my business on my Facebook page, which I had grown over the years from engaging my friends and, people of like minds. And when I delved into my business, that platform that was created was what I used to carry that business. And it has earned me a very good pay and a very good keep since then. There isn't really much of a motivation to own a shop or not to, because I can literally run my business and have customers from Canada, from America, from the US, from Dubai, from Germany patronize me just from my page. So these are some of the things you consider when you talk about the digital generation, and how it has seriously benefited us, over here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
thank you so much.
Yeah, I was going to say that statistics in the US showed that in the 70s, 60% of attendees for education were male, and 40% were female. However, when the statistics was taken again in 2021, this year, it was reported on CNN that it's flipped. 60% of students are female and 40% are male. I dare say that the females are ready. We are hungry. We are passionate. We want to do everything we've been told that we cannot do. We are willing and ready right now to get it done. And the digital platform is really giving us that assistance that we need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, before we came, we came to the parlor before we came to the parlor, I had this thought. I was thinking about the theme for this year, and I was like, whoever coined the theme, whatever theme that played this theme out, I think they deserve much more than just a mere kudos, because especially for us who live in our society, or let me say, our society is a society that considers docility, shyness, inability to hold an opinion, especially in men's circle, as a mark of virtue, and then an emblem of wife materialism or wife material.
Absolutely.
Because oftentimes you find people coming to my page to read my write-ups, and not holding an intelligent opinion, but would want you to submit to them on the premise of the fact that he's a man.
Yeah.
And so because he is a man, he holds sway to opinion and what I should say and what I should write. And I read some comments, cynicisms, and I'm like, I don't understand. Now I'm wondering, if there is no digital platform, what would I have been doing? Like you rightly said, if I had to use the mainstream media to be able to project these projects or this brand, how far would I be able to have come? Maybe they would have scrutinized and review my book or my plan, and each topic I want to talk about has to be reviewed in line with cultural expectations of what I should say and how I should say them. So I think that this is the time of the girl child. This is the generation of the girl child. And even the ones you enumerated, the names you mentioned, I think they are just like a tiny fraction of the girl child and what she is doing and what the girl child is doing. And it's a very pleasant development. Let's discuss the limitations. Like I said, I just said to you now that, you can't say what you want to say. Even with the platform that is made available to you, you have to still juggle and fight through cultural limitations and societal limitations. There are some things that are considered off your radar or off your range as a girl or as a lady. So let me ask you, or let's discuss the limitations of the girl child in the digital age.
Okay. It's well and good that there is so much that we can do with the digital platforms in this digital age. However, we can't spend all of our lives online. There is a life that the Nigerian woman in particular has outside of this space. And that life is still regulated by patriarchal laws, by patriarchal expectations and demands, by patriarchal trappings, stiflings, oppression, suppression, subjugation. We have religious rules and religious influences that are very powerful. They are ingrained. Children are groomed and with these, and we're consistently inundated by that kind of information in our schools, in our places of worship, in our families. So it's generally and consistently the badgering of patriarchy to the average Nigerian woman outside of this space. Not that we don't even get, like you already highlighted, you still have it, you still have to face it, even when you are online. So when we take into consideration, for example, the laws that regulate the citizens of this country, the regulatory bodies within employment and office environments, the structures that have been set up within political bodies for women to take on power, which would only happen outside of this space, right? When you think about all of this, you realize that as long as patriarchy continues to hold sway in those circles, we would have the inhibitions and continue to suffer them. Sexism, the discrimination of women, and laws that generally do not just benefit us. Even when there are laws per se to protect the girl child, you can see that the way that those laws are handled, they are more like suggestions than they are actually laws. Because the structures that should back those laws in order to make them effective, in order to give them teeth, in order to enable them bites, are broken or completely underfunded. And you find that at the end of the day, women are still suffering. So let's say, for example, the expectation of marriage. The average Nigerian woman who is growing up and wants to pursue her career will find herself very pressured into a union. She would be told covertly and overtly that she cannot amount to anything, and all of her achievements amount to nothing until she gets married. She would be told by a system that when she gets married, she automatically is less than her spouse, who is a man. She would be told this by the official security authorities in a Nigerian environment, for example. You would walk into the police station and a policeman and even a policewoman would tell you that your husband is your head and you have to do certain things. You will go to church, you will hear that. You will go to your home, the home front, your family, you would hear that. You will go to the palace, the traditional authority, you would hear that. You will hear it everywhere. And if this head they're asking you to submit to is one who is introducing oppressive rules against your progress with respect to your career, your choices, your voice, your dreams, your aspirations, even your body, your bodily autonomy, you would be asked to cower to that authority that is your spouse. A friend of mine was talking to me the other day and said to me that there are hospitals that women go to for birth control, and they are told that if they do not bring their husbands to consent to birth, the birth control procedure, they would not be able to get it. That is a simple example of a woman trying to regulate how many children she has or when she has children. She's told that she would need the consent of her spouse. Now, this is not written in a law book anywhere, but this is what we are talking about. Patriarchy creates structures within environments where women's issues are discussed, issues specific to women are discussed. It creates structures within those environments to continue to stifle women. We can look at the civil service laws, for example. These are also regulatory laws made within the civil service. And you find a situation where a woman is pregnant, and they say if you're pregnant without being married to a man, you would not be entitled to maternity leave, for example. How does that make sense? Maternity leave is really and truly, first of all, needed by the person who is pregnant. It doesn't matter whether, it shouldn't matter whether or not that person is attached to a man. What should matter is that I'm a woman and I am pregnant. And so at a certain time during my pregnancy, I'm going to need some time because I am growing a full human on the inside of me. And then you have civil service laws across states created within these bodies, the authorities, with the regulatory authorities within these bodies, create a law saying that if you are not married and you are pregnant, you will not be entitled to maternity leave. There are so many environments where women get stifled. So many. Just the other day, the Supreme Court made a judgment that allowed women from the Igbo part of the country to be able to inherit properties from their father's estate where their father is deceased. And as we speak right now, we still know that that practice is still thriving, that a lot of women will not be able to face the bodies within these environments that hold these laws. They would not be able to fight them. They would not be able to face them. And there are no structures in place in these communities, in these villages, to ensure that a woman can easily gain protection or gain advocacy or a woman's rights to acquiring property from her parents or from her father, particularly, is not trampled upon. We do not necessarily have that on the go. A judgment has been given. You would expect that in such circumstances, structures will be put in place in those environments to ensure that these kind of activities are curbed. But that is not the case. We know that a lot of women do not have the moral support. They do not have the physical strength. They do not have the emotional strength. They don't have the support, the human resources to be able to hold on to their end, on these shitty bargains. But it is what it is. The Supreme Court will just grant the judgment and there would be no real structure put in place to ensure that that woman who sued would be the last woman to experience that kind of discrimination. So it's so many things. It's so many things. If we're talking about spousal abuse, for example, we do know that physical abuse is one of the major gender-based abuses, because it's gender-based because it's specifically suffered greatly by women. And look at the police stations where we go to report cases of assault. Look at the state of these police stations. Look at the mindset of this police, the staff, the members of the police force. Have they been trained? Do they understand how to handle a woman who comes forward and says, I'm being battered by my spouse? What kind of questions are asked? How is she protected? If the man is extremely violent, are there homes available, made available by the state to ensure that she's protected? And all of these things are the things that come together to really and truly inhibit the girl child. Because even when we're talking about the way a girl child is raised at home, you don't even have proper structures in school. Outside the country or in more advanced societies, the school acts like a check and balance for the home. If a girl child is going to school, maybe she's in primary 3 or 4, and she doesn't come to school for 2-3 days, the school is going to try to reach the parents. If they can't reach the parents, Or if they reach the parents and they don't get any sensible response, they are going to reach the authorities. The authorities will then go to that school, to that home, and find out what exactly is going on with the girl child. But in Nigeria, a child can be attending school one day and then just stop. Because automatically, the father says he doesn't have money to pay school fees. Okay, let the sons go. The daughters stay home. After all, you're going to get married. There is no structure in place to ensure that that imbalance does not occur. So we have this platform, this wonderful digital platform. And we come here every day and we talk and we say the things that we say. But we're talking about people in the rural areas, people in all these other areas, even people in the urban areas, even people who have access to social media. They can read the things that we say. They can hear me when I say this. You are a girl child, doesn't make you unequal to your male counterpart. They can hear all of these things. They can believe it. But when they leave this platform and try to function in their existing reality, is there a structure in place that allows them, to function at their best as women and to display the rights that should come inherently with their humanity? No, we do not have that. So those are some of the inhibitions that we'd experience.
Okay, I hear you, Esiri. You've made so much profound, statements here, and they are very sad or saddening to an extent, but it's the reality for which we live in. I want to say, like, this comment here by Susan West. She is also a digital talk show host, Susan West. She's a very popular one. She said, you can read her comments. I'm sure you see it, right?
I can.
Okay.
She says
male chauvinism.
She says, Susan West says, male chauvinism is society laden with misogynistic mindset. Until women are in positions of authority in great numbers, nothing will change. I absolutely agree. Yeah,
but before you agree, I read it so that we can join it with what the next thing I want to say. Now, as much as we have the chauvinism and we have the patriarchy instances, I'm also thinking that women are also contributors to this particular, to some limitations that the girl child has. And I would like you to also maybe say a little bit on that, if you agree with me. Because if we have a home where, to an extent, there are still roles designate for girls, designate for men. Oh, Nigeria has happened to you.
Nigeria has happened to me, but just hold on. They'll put on my generator now. Carry on. I swear down. They'll put on my generator.
I know. Once I'm online, I have all my rechargeables on facing me. So any eventuality, at least I can see my face. But you're hearing me.
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm saying that the last time we had a conversation here, I think Emilia Ayo-Efa was part of that conversation, and Dr. Chioma Ibezim was also part of that conversation. In that conversation, if Emilia will agree, we also highlighted the issue of women, mothers, also being part of the challenges the girl child is facing. Besides the male chauvinism, the issue of in the house, the roles designate. It is the role of the girl to wash plates, it's the role of the girl to cook, while the guy can sit around and do. Absolutely. And so at the end, you have male or a man now married with the same mindset of role designate in the house.
Absolutely.
And he also will have children and still propagate the same stream or flow of
To the
um
next generation.
of culture. Yes. So why we are talking about this, the threats of culture, of patriarchy, misogyny has or have on the Nigerian child? What is also the implication of the women contributing to this particular culture of patriarchy?
Yeah, it's sad, but it's the truth that the issue of gender disparity is not even a gender issue. Like, it's not, as in patriarchy is not, is gender blind. It's not gender biased. Patriarchy is not something men just do. We may say that the structures over the years were put up by men, but women have also imbibed these patriarchal tenets. A lot of them have the, internalized misogyny. They've internalized misogyny. And because of that, you find a situation where in certain areas or certain sectors of the society, it is actually the females who are put in charge of enforcing patriarchal rules or culture and stuff, and they do it to the latter. The point being, they do not know, one, any better. If you try to educate them, a lot of them are already stuck in that way. They are stuck in that belief. There is another thing called benevolent patriarchy, because having been raised to pay attention to the male gaze, to be validated by men, a situation where a woman like you would tell you, oh, you're looking beautiful, or you're doing great, or that's a fantastic write-up, oh, you are good at your job. And you don't rate it until a man tells you you're beautiful, or a man tells you you're good, or you don't rate it. Why? Because you have always been groomed to think that the validation that comes from the man is superior to that comes from a female. And for as long as that continues to be the mindset, where we are all battling to get into male spaces, we're all battling to be the next next bro friend to a male guy who can grant us access to male dominated spaces, you'll find that the women have been staged up to fight against themselves and push each other down, because we know that the quota for women in that space we are all groveling for is really slim. We can't all get there. In order to get there, in order to be liked, we're going to keep trying to get validated by the males in those environments so that we can be lifted up as one of the boys, even though we are female. You see, this kind of system is a system that allows for patriarchy to continue to threaten even amongst women. So there's a lot of infighting. There's a lot of imbalanced rules, imbalanced expectations, imbalanced demands. An example, I'm going to just take one major example, being Tega. That is one that is trending. I don't know if you follow. Yeah, of course, you follow the BBN show.
Yes.
And what Tega did in the house is what the husbands of many women who are dragging her are doing currently today. That's what they do every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. That's what they do on vacations. A lot of men go on vacations on their own and pay for vacations for their family. When they pay for the family, they pay for the wife and children to go. And then when it's time for the man to go, the man goes on his own. But we all know he's not going on his own. And these wives equally know that he's not going on his own. Some of these wives will help pack their husband's suitcases and put condoms in there.
Yeah, I know that. They put
so it is this same wives. It is these same wives who will nearly kill Tega for kissing a boma in the house. What does it say? And I keep asking myself, why are you so mad at her though? She hasn't done anything different from what your brother, uncle, father, cousin, neighbor, all the men around you are doing it. Why do you hold her to a different standard? Why is hers such an acrimony? Why are you so angry at her? I would have thought you would say, okay, you took one for the girls. That's just as in 1 million versus one, or 100 million or billions versus one. At least we are trying. There's no hope that we'll equalize, but Atega, well done. At least you equalize this one for us. But no, we want women to be chaste. We women also want women to be chaste. We hold women to a different kind of standard. We have a different expectation of them. We have been so socialized. It has become a norm for us to pick at a woman. Oh, she's dressing without a bra. Oh, she goes around without a pant. Oh, she's always nude. Oh, she's always with boys. Oh, she's always in the same show where men are going about without their shirts. They are going about with shorts that are dropping. We can see their butt crack and their abdomen. Men are kissing millions of, as in basically every girl. They are sitting down having verbal conversations liberally, talking about how many girls they would like to have sex with. They are with one and they are talking about, I'm attracted to this, I'm attracted. And something happens to us. As long as it's a man in that capacity, we don't hear it. We don't see. There is no offense. There is no anger. We're chilled. Just flip that script and put a woman in that picture. And how dare she? Oh, she's a prostitute. Oh, she's loose. Oh, she's that. And then we keep going. And then the attacks. And sometimes you read these attacks and they are so vile. These women are so angry. Why are you so angry? Angry. Why all this anger against your fellow woman for doing what? For doing what you tolerate. What you tolerated a second from a man. And I think they don't even realize that they have been triggered. They have been configured a certain way. They don't realize that something is off. They are just functioning in the part that they've been roboted to function, which is why for feminism to gain ascendancy, there has to be a complete reconfiguration. We have to reset the mind because they are going to act out naturally because that is what nature has imbibed on the inside of them. And if you try to show them different, they don't want to listen. They have been so wired up to fight against themselves.
I think
to fight. Yes.
Esiri, I think is, in my opinion, it's a situation of where, or I believe that a lot of women are suffering from, have mental conditions, you know. They have taken in so much that a replica or a representation of what they are going through, a replica or a representation of what they are going through triggers that. It's like someone that has lost their minds and they have a near same incident and they come back to their reality. So I think that's what is going on. Because like you said, when you read the vile, when you read the comments, for example, I mean, let me use my baby Angel. When I read some of the vials, the things coming out of women, and I'm like, is she exposing your breast? Is it your breast? Is it your, I don't understand, because it's like something like is triggered. Something is triggered when they see a similar situation. So they are not able to confront their own challenges, but they now see it somewhere, something that looks close to what they are going through in their homes. It triggers, and then you have all the words, the bad words that are coming out from human beings that I read, and I'm like, are you serious right now? So now it is like you said, Tega is the sacrificial lamb right now. Tega is the example of the Magdalene, the Mary Magdalene. Tega is the woman caught in adultery because her own, she was caught. So she was caught, and the society is willing to sacrifice her on the altar of salvation or redemption, if we can say that. So that is, and like you rightly said, The major scribes, the Sadducees, the Pharisees are women.
Yes.
You know, when you mentioned the issue of inheritance, the issue of inheritance in some
Yes.
culture, I had said that also on one of our episodes. I was a victim of that. When we sold, there was a time my brothers, they sold one of my father's property in the East. And one of my brothers said, no, that I'm not qualified to share in the
In the
proceeds.
proceeds.
Yes. And I was not giving.
Hmm.
Yes. So, and like
Wow.
Nkechi Bianze said when she came on this show a few weeks ago, she said her advocacy or her feminism, it's not because she is going through or she had gone through some of the things she's pushing against,
Yes.
because she had a fantastic childhood, but because it is the right thing to do. And in my
Yes.
case, yes, I lost an inheritance because, of course, a girl child. And there are lots of children that are also losing inheritance. And these cases are, I mean, supported by women. Because
Yes.
when the matter comes before them, they judge it the way they want to. The issue
Yes.
of widowhood in most African communities or societies in our cultures in our nation, the widowhood practices, you know, harmful practices against widows are carried out by the same women who knew or who know that if they are not widows, they will be widows. And the same thing will be done to them. And sometimes when you question them, they say, yes, when it's my turn, let them do the same thing to me. And so I kind of agree that feminism will have to do much more than just a few of the voices we're raising here and there in some platforms. So I think we need to do much more. And that is bringing me to the
Yes.
next question that I would like to throw to you. I would like to say, has feminism helped in giving voices to the girl child, or has it bedeviled the cause in our society? Because I mean, in so many fora, you hear them say it is feminism is evil, feminism is that, feminism is this. So, how much has feminism helped in
I think
pushing the
feminism.
limitation against the child, the girl child?
I think feminism has really helped. I think it has really helped. I think that we are not surprised that feminism is demonized as it is. I'm not surprised because people are not naturally adverse to change. And, this is something that they've known all their lives, and they've been told that this is the way it should be, it's the way it must be. And when you're coming to defy something that is entrenched in religion, that is entrenched in tradition, that is even entrenched in statutory laws, it's almost like, how can you know better than all these women, or all these men who were here before you? How can you know better than them? And whether we like it or not, when we start to push feminist tenets, you find out that realistically, it would take away some power. It would take away substantial power and privileges from the male gender. Anything that is going to temper with a person's privileges and power is going to be an enemy to that person. And so I'm not surprised, but I believe that it has done a great deal of work. I believe that it has. Even on the social media space, you find some circumstances where a person would be, a person would have gotten away with certain comments, or, okay, for example, let's take White Money, for example, in the BBN show. When he began to make sexist comments, a lot of people started backing out. A lot of women started backing out. Some men even backed out. I know a few men who said, no, I can't stand with that. I can't stand with that. And I feel like these comments are things, sayings that our forefathers and our fathers used to say carelessly. in general environments. Pastors used to say them on the pulpit, people say them, and nothing happens. In the office environment, it used to be said, but there is a level of sensitization, not quite enough, not quite enough, but there is a level of sensitization that has ensured that some of these things are flagged, you know, and people can actually spot them and say, no, no, you can't do that. No, you can't say that. No, you cannot act in this way. No, you cannot act in that manner. Regardless of the fact that feminism is demonized on the streets, it has also become a very popular movement within Nigeria. When you say feminist or feminism, the average person has heard that word before. He might not have the proper understanding of what it means, but once upon a time, that word wasn't even used in the Nigerian space, so to speak. So now it's become popular, and yes, we are snatching souls from the patriarchy every single day. We are snatching souls from the patriarchy one after the other. I have people on my inbox who consistently come to me to ask questions when they are confused. They come for clarifications, you know, and they will say to you, oh, I used to think this. I used to think this other way. But now, having read you, having followed some feminists, having done this, this is the way I think. I think differently now. So I think if we continue putting effort like we have, you know, over a protracted period of time, the next generation will be better. And the generation after that will be better.
Yeah.
So yes, it has helped a great deal. I think so.
Awesome. Thank you guys for still staying with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. All your comments. It's been a very engaging evening, and I'm so thankful. We have about 20-something minutes to round off. I don't know, Susan West and Emilia, I'm trying to send you invitation inbox to join us. If you would like to join us for maybe about 5 minutes, if that's okay, let me know so I can send you the link to join us. You just need to copy the link to your Google Chrome and it will bring you to where we are. Let me know if that's okay, Emilia and Susan. I would like to send you invitation to join us on this conversation. It's impromptu, but I would love to do that. Okay. So while we continue, Esiri, let's see if they will want to join, if that's fine.
Okay.
So let's look at you as a lawyer and girl, child, women advocate, which you are doing so well. Again, let me say for those who have just joined, Esiri runs a pro bono for women who are in difficult situations and need legal assistance. So if you're here, you're listening to us, or maybe you watch this video afterwards, if you have any challenge that requires legal representation, counsel, and strategy, please reach out to Esiri on her page inbox. She will be able to assist you. Thank you so much, Emilia. Yes, I will send you
the link.
I'll send the invitation, the link to you right now. Box, yes, Emilia. I'll do that. Okay. So I'm saying, Esiri, that as a lawyer and girl child advocate, will you say but will you say that the legal system and its provisions are adequately poised for the 21st century issues of the girl child? If not, what can be done against the issues of rape, social media bullying, child domestic labor, sexism, and other harmful traditional practices that strive to stifle the voice of the girl child? I don't know, is that mouthful?
Is it a mouthful? No, it's not. At least I heard you clearly, and I know where you're going with that. I would say that our laws are very inadequate. This is speaking professionally from a point of a lawyer. Our laws are extremely inadequate to protect the girl child. We have sexual abuse issues We have gender-based violence, sexual abuse is one of them, and other kind of physical abuse and all of that. We have all of that. We have the discrimination, sexism in the workplace. We have imbalance of pay. We have maternity leave issues. We have what's the word? Bodily autonomy issues. We have sexual autonomy issues. We have maternity autonomy issues. We have birth control issues. You know, so no, I do not think that we have adequate laws. I do not. We even, for example, still in Nigeria, there is nothing like marital rape, and that is a very pathetic situation. That in this country we still believe that just because you engaged in marital union with a person, that there is no crime as a person forcefully gaining access to your body and having sexual intercourse with you, as long as that person is your husband. Now that is really, really sad, because any country worth its onions has created laws, not a law, has created laws to protect women even within marital unions. So that's a shame. Physical abuse is also worrisome. We still have the issue of bride price. We're still battling with the issues of female genital mutilation in a lot of the interiors of communities and villages. And we still have the widows' rights, these barbaric traditional customs, you know. They should be unearthed. What I would have thought is that these issues, one after the other, would be unearthed, exposed for what they are, and that there would be legislation ensuring that they do not continue. And if anyone continues to perform this task, then there should be a structure to ensure that those people face the wrath of the law and speedily. And then we are talking about the girl child and laws, and we are still a country that endorses child marriage. Excuse me. Some parts of the North have not adopted the Child Rights Act. In those parts of the North, Sharia law holds sway. They use the penal code, and the penal code allows them to get married to children of age 12, age 13, you know. And you look at these areas and you see little girls who can no longer go to school because a 12, 13-year-old, you know, is married and pregnant. You have situations where she has already developed VVF and she's peeing into bags. You have situations where they are given into drugs because they are miserable, they are sad. When the codeine abuse hit and codeine started getting legislated on by the medical bodies, and it was by the drug agencies rather, and it was completely taken off the shelves. The statistics show that a great deal of codeine abusers were females in the North, you know. And why not? Because a lot of these women are trying to escape their reality. We still have laws within the penal code, that's the northern laws, that allows for a man to beat his wife. You have laws that allows for a man to look at a woman and say, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, and that's it. You know, it's really sad. It's really sad. And then she would live with little or nothing to her name, you know, after having children. You know, it's the other day I heard about a law, like a regulatory law, that was denying women the pensions of their deceased husbands if they didn't take on their husband's surname. Now that's so ridiculous, because marriage can be evidenced by virtue of a marriage certificate. I don't have to be answering my spouse's surname to prove to you that I'm married to him. There is a legal document that identifies, that discloses that a person is married. And you would think that that should suffice for the purpose of pensions and all this other kind of stuff. And to hear that women were getting discriminated against because they didn't take on their husband's surnames was quite was really painful to hear. It just feels like in many sectors, sexist rules just hold sway. They hold sway, and it's so easy outside the country. If you start to do anything that tilts some way, I mean, in feminist forward societies, if you try to do anything that tilts a certain way to disclose gender discrimination, you would immediately be flagged. Somebody is going to say something to you, something is going to happen, you're going to be stopped. But here, there are so many means in so many different sectors where people just willfully and carelessly create sexist rules, and these rules just become the norm and they continue to thrive. So no, widows are still being maltreated in the villages. Wives are still being maltreated, abused, physically abused in homes. There is not enough protection in the society and even in our legislation for women. Women are still being raped in marriages, still being beaten in marriages, you know, and even the discrimination in pay, sometimes in office environments. I've worked somewhere where my boss said to me, oh, because I had a sick child and I had taken too many days off, but I was coming forward with the evidence of fact that my child was going through this and I was trying to work that. And a female boss said to me, oh, this is the reason why we really do not like to employ women, because there's just so many excuses. And it was such a shame to me that a woman would say that to me, because I couldn't possibly have gotten pregnant on my own. There's a man there, but the society allows for that man to be able to pursue his career with little or no distractions. All the responsibilities with respect to childcare, and regardless of that's post-carrying babies and breastfeeding, nurturing children, all the responsibilities seem to fall on the woman. So it's me in pursuit of my career, who's going to go to my boss and say, I need to take some days off because my son is sick. That's not going to be my husband. That's going, on the average, that's going to be a woman. And to have a woman who has children sit opposite you and say, this is the reason why a lot of establishments don't want to employ women. Such a shame, because in any universe, the only gender that can get pregnant is a woman. Like in any universe within this world, it will always be a woman. It's never going to be a man. And so you would expect that there would be more sensitive rules within employment establishments to protect women from such kind of perceptions and stereotypes, knowing fully well that without these women, these men have no claim to children. So create a situation that is more caring, affordable for them, that is more understanding for them, that respects the sacrifice of womanhood and maternity. You don't have that. Instead, what you have are people making flippant comments and flippant rules on pregnancy and all whatnot, and nothing to regulate that. Nobody to say, you know, you have unions and all these employment bodies, but they're not looking into establishments to ensure that there is a balance and ensuring that women are not being oppressed in those environments. We don't have that. We don't have that kind of searchlight, you know? So, yeah, I think that we have a long way to go with regards to laws and regulations and support for women and women issues. Sister Emilia, it's so good to see you, by the way.
Yes, so good to see you, Emilia. I'm super thankful that you could accept to just show up without prior notice.
I was almost set to just, but I said, let me listen to these women first, before I call it a day. I'm so exhausted.
I know. So,
I mean,
let me not
the
keep you for long, Emilia. But
you say?
I want you to start, Emilia. I don't want to keep you for too long here.
Oh, sure.
I want you to read the comment on the screen and start from there. I know there's so much you would want to talk about. Let's hear you. Read that comment.
My lecturer, who is a professor in obstetrics and gynecology, had given the topic rape to teach us. Then in our 5th year, came to class and told us that there's nothing like marital rape. I felt sorry for my class. But
Oh
I know this
my
person intended
God.
to say class, actually.
No,
I felt
climb.
sorry.
Yeah.
Climb. Okay, I felt
Climb.
sorry for my
Climb.
climb that day.
Mm.
Well, the way people see it, I would say one thing. From the clinical aspect of dealing with sexual assault, what you're talking about is like child's play. So from the clinical aspect of, dealing with sexual assault, even the doctor is looking at it and saying, madam, this is not rape. Oh. Madam, we cannot do anything. Let us just treat you and you go back to your husband. Oh. You want to call police for your husband. Are you sure? It is the doctor that will decide that you should not even report this case further than leaving the health facility, because that you would be reporting your spouse. So we are in a lot of trouble. We are in a lot of trouble. You can't report at the health facility. You can't even report at the police, because the police themselves will say, madam, this is a domestic issue. Why are you reporting your husband? They will come there and they will badge you. That after badging you, you still want to do it. They will come to your house and harass you and threaten you. The men will go to the police and bribe them. They will collect money and tell you, madam, even come back, your case has ended. So we have a lot of problems. It's embedded in our culture, our religion, and the society. And then we have so much to do. But when people talk about women being the problem, we need to teach our young girls to do this, protect ourselves. We need to teach our young girls to be more aware, or we need to teach the women or the clinical people to be more aware, to be more sensitive. How about you teach your boys to know better? How about you teach your boys not to rape? How about you teach your husbands not to sexually abuse that house help in your homes? How about you teach your own cousins to look at other young girls whom they invite to their house for dates, not to sexually abuse them? It needs to come from a different perspective. We need to start, reorienting ourselves to do better, to think differently about sexual abuse and rape. It is common, it is everywhere. We who deal at the clinical aspect are beginning to be numb. That there was a time, I think this week, I've seen about 3 cases of sexual abuse this week. This week alone, my week has, what's today now? Today is Monday, Abby. Just
Yes.
Monday.
Yes.
I've seen a 6-month-old abused,
Oh my
fingered, and the
gosh.
mother was screaming in the hospital. She didn't know. She has a 14-year-old, 18-year-old, and her husband in the house. So she doesn't know who to blame that the 6-month-old was abused, because the child was so mutilated and was bleeding. She brought the child to the hospital. We were trying, should you be dealing, I was talking to the healthcare provider, should you be dealing with the child first and then should we be counseling the lady? I have seen a man brought his 13-year-old daughter with his brother, whom he knows was the one sexually abusing his child. This one, are you listening to me? Because I found it weird. So we are asking the man, Oga, who they do this thing with your pikin? He said, nah, this my brother. The man is standing behind. They came together. They came together to the health facility. So who they do this thing? Say, nah, my brother. I said, Oga, how you want to make we deal with this issue when you they work out with your brother, they go every. What do you want us to do? Do you get the point? What do you want us to do? Say, we go sit down for house and they wait for my older brothers for nature. Make them come, make we do meeting. Before we go agree, make you arrest my brother. I not go agree, make you arrest my brother. So this one we are talking, most times when I look at social media, I just, you people are not seeing the real issue. The real issue is at the facility level. Go to feeder office, go to the police. You will see how much degraded women have returned to. We are not valued. Nobody is taking us for anything. Sex with a woman, forceful sex is nothing. What is marital sex? Who knows that? Who recognizes that? Who even talks about it? Even your own, within our sector, the development sector, which we pride ourselves, we are the most intelligent, we have evolved and everything. It is there, inside there, be telling you, waiting be that. Husband, no feel rape wife, my dear. So we have a lot of work to do. we are endangered. I used to say we are endangered. We are an endangered species in everywhere. Everywhere you find yourself, you are endangered. So anytime I see people talk about issues, about feminism, about gender equality, I'm like, speak. I'm tired. Because we have to talk more. We need more people to talk. I agree. I wanted to talk about the issue of, I agree women are stumbling blocks because they themselves don't know better. The few who know better have been, things are hard, I can tell you for a fact. And they've been beclouded by the economic situation. They've been beclouded by power. They've been beclouded by moving and rising to the top. So most women now are saying, I don't want to carry another woman come me, no can drag me down. I don't want their issues, especially if you're vocal. I don't want their issues. Please let me just work with the men. I like to work with just the men. I don't have issues when I work with men. And then they rise to the top. And when they get to the top, they knowingly, intentionally seal all the doors for other women like you and I to climb to the top.
Yes.
So it looks like women are the ones fighting themselves. Not necessarily, but because they feel they shouldn't give you the opportunity to climb to the top. Because of all the other issues that they are facing, societal, cultural, religion, within the workspace, so much issues. So sisters, we can talk about it from now till tomorrow. It's just we do what we can. I mean, we do what we can. We talk about it when we can. We hope we are making changes. We hope we are touching other people. We hope we are making other women awoke, that you can question these things. Even if you're the lone voice, question it, push back. How can a woman tell me that it is unfortunate, that is the reason why you don't employ more women because my child is sick? I would be mad. I would be really, really mad, because you wouldn't tell a man that. He wouldn't need to ask you for time to take care of his children, except his wife is not there. Even at that, there are some people that if the man asks for it, they will even tell you, where is madam? Why madam no carry pikin go hospital? Why is it you? Do you get the point? They piggyback to the wife immediately, whether she's there or not there. So it's a lot of issues we need to talk to, but I'm glad that it's something we can talk about in the first place, because before you couldn't.
Yes. And that
before you couldn't, they would shut you. They will shut you down.
The theme for this year's International Girl Child Day, that's why the theme is very, 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 there's a word I'm looking for, Esiri. Very, very, Madam Esiri, writer, give me a word now.
It's all encompassing.
Yes, because, yes, very important.
I think the theme. I'm sorry. I think the theme is art and trending. So when the theme is art, it's because we're in a new generation and digital
generation.
There's a lot of things happening within the digital world, as much as the good and the bad. People are using social media to traffic young girls. People are using social media to abuse your kids with pornography and all kinds of things. Lots of children are dealing with pornography addiction because of social media. People are using social media to drag your children out of places that are unsafe, to harm, to maim, to kill them. So as much as we are benefiting from the process, it's a lot of risk. And so we need to also teach our young girls, the consequences of risky behaviors. As much as I tell a young girl, it is your right to express yourself, but you need to be armed, because as you're going out there, know that you are endangered and anything can happen to you.
Emilia, before I let you go, Emilia, I would like to ask you, do you think that we have enough representation, political representation and economic empowerment to help the girl child?
I have talked about this in several ways, outside the women's space and within the women's space. Within the women's space, they didn't like me so much because I hit them really hard. Within the women, let me come from within the women's space. Within the women's space, What I say is that I think women do have money, but they do not put their money where their mouth is.
Mouth in. Okay.
I don't think they put their money. A number of the political women don't put their monies where their mouth is. I can tell you for a fact. If I would create a space within the political scene, and most of the time the women would rather give it to a man just because I don't like her. I don't like her face. I don't like the way she talks. She's too loud. She's too everywhere. She did not kneel down and greet me. I mean, she didn't stand to say hello. So she didn't greet all my cliques of friends. So I'll not give her. Even though you're qualified, even though you're competent, even though you would make that change, they would not. And let me say one other thing that I said that they were not happy at all. And I would say it again. If you see these men, when they say we are mobilizing 1 billion naira to campaign for one person, the men say, hey, 1 billion naira, no problem. Let us go. We give ourselves 6 months. We keep the money down. They don't care. It's for one man they have all agreed that is going to take this space. Win or lose, anyhow, we have agreed that this is the person. But do women do that? We need to start asking ourselves, are you putting your money where your mouth is? If you say you need more representation, you need to mobilize resources like men do. You can't sit down and be hoping for them to give you things all the time. It doesn't work all the time. So to answer your question, first of all, we don't have representation at all. That's what I would say. We say 15%, 35%. We don't have a female governor. How many senators do we have as females? Even at the position of commissioners within the whole state. It is until which state was just doing almost 50-50 yesterday that we were celebrating. One of these states, I've forgotten, I would have shared. What we were celebrating in 2021, that one of the states had 40% of women as commissioner, one in 36. And we were using it as an example, and everybody was celebrating, and I was just quiet. Because in my mind, I said, we are celebrating it in 2020. No, sorry, in 2021. We should have gone past this. So we don't have representation. We don't have representation enough to speak on our issues. People will come up with that we have Ministry of Women Affairs. Ministry of Women Affairs cannot talk within all the ministries on all the issues. You were mentioning different issues. Esiri was mentioning different issues. I'll just say, our problem plenty. Sexual abuse, gender-based violence, widowhood rights, maternity issues, this one, that one. Women Affairs will bring that up and be walking across it. It will not happen. So we need to be there. So we do have resources, but I don't think we are harnessing it enough. We don't have as much resources as the men because, of course, you know that we are disadvantaged. Accordingly, we don't have assets. We are not in a place of authority. We are not making as much money as them, but we do have resources. The problem is, are we mobilizing it enough for now to be able to push for them? So I don't know if I addressed your issues, but by the time I was done within the women's circle, they were not happy with me at all.
So beautifully
just
speak
like
to you.
Nana said, I think Nana on the screen, Nana is just said the way I'm feeling right now. It is so sad, depressing. It is a basket case.
Basket
case.
I don't actually know which point she is saying that for, but I'm taking what she said to say that this is how I am feeling right now after listening to you, because Esiri has been hitting it hard on the nail on the head, back. And then I was hoping that asking Emilia can sort of put a cold stone on the hotness of the nail that Esiri really has been hitting. But you just ended pouring coal, more hot coal on the same nail. It's very depressing. It's depressing. And like somebody said here, let me put this here. She said, love to see this. We keep speaking into the souls of this matter and breaking barriers and renewing mindsets. A girl child is a phenomenon. And I agree with her too. I agree. I want to thank you, Emilia, for joining us. Truly
thank
thankful.
You for having
and
me.
I'm hoping before you leave, I'm hoping that very soon, Straight Talk with Oma will have our first internet or Digital Women Conference, our first Digital Women
Please.
Conference, and I'm hoping that some of you will oblige us the privilege to turn in a position paper and talk to women. It will be on a Zoom platform where we can have so much people join us. So I will keep you posted, Emilia. And I want to thank you for your love for Straight Talk with Oma. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for
Esiri,
coming.
so lovely to see you. Thank you.
You too. You too. Can get some rest.
So, okay. Yeah, so my lovely Esiri, this is so heartbreaking.
Oh,
So
it is.
let me bring back it again to you to say political and economic inequality is evident, and especially in lack of representation in our political system, lack of women represent or adequate representation by women. Maybe adequate is the right word. And like Emilia said,
Emilia.
Women having money, and yet it's difficult to put the money where it can benefit
Where it
the girl
matters.
child. Yes, where it matters. They will rather, and let's go back to BBN. I want to say let's go back to BBN. I'm sorry we have to take BBN into this conversation because it is the most recent thing.
It's the most recent, yes.
That
so
broke
it's
my
fresh
heart.
in everybody's.
Yes, it broke my heart to see that we are still going round this circle. That you see women champion the cause of a man for whatever reason. And like Emilia said, so I don't like her. She does not represent me. God said, society said, virtuousness said, and all that, And it is the extension in our National Assembly, in our state assembly, in our state political terrain, and our federal political terrain. We find the same thing. Now, I mean, sometimes I laugh when I hear that we are asking, we want to pass a law that will mandate or regulate or a legislation that can insist 50-50 from each state, a woman, 15 women, you must give us 15. No, I'm asking, do we have to demand for it or do we have to work for it to get it if we are serious? If it's not just to satisfy the political aspiration of a few women, if it's something because women have the power to change the narrative in the political system, in the political journey or state of our nation. We have the numbers, we have the resources. We know there's this movie by it's a Nollywood movie where the women rose up to challenge illiterate women, uneducated women, rose up to challenge the case of early marriage or child marriage. They did so many things. They denied their husband's sex. They locked up until they were able to achieve what they were looking for. And that child was not given to marriage in that movie. I'm asking you again, Esiri, what can we do? What is the way forward? What is the way forward in having proper representation that can champion the cause of the girl child in Nigeria?
It's sad because this is one thing that keeps me up at night, because it goes back to what Emilia says. We need the power of support. We need the power of the majority speaking with one voice. And women are so divided on these issues that it almost feels like it's so hard. Like you said, we should go back to the BBN example. I spent night and day writing, projecting, promoting. And a lot of women spent equally the same amount of time trying to pull down women in that house. As a matter of fact, maybe majority of women, because someone said something that was very striking to me. He said that the majority of voters who vote during the BBN show are female. And so that if women were a group of people who spoke with one voice, they could conveniently ensure that every BBN season a female comes up talks. But because, like Emilia said, we are configured to pick ourselves apart over silly and irrelevant reasons, and we are also configured to elevate the male species over a female based, and the male species you would even see them elevate is not even someone that is special in any shape or form. It's not even someone that is flawless. It's not even someone, I mean, this season, females elevated a person who is sexist, a person who speaks against their own gender. They used their pages, their knowledge, their intelligence, their resources to fund that person and to elevate that person to the seat of to the winning seat. And this is the case. It's not just in BBN. People kept saying, "Oh, it's just a game. It's just a game," and that statement kept disgusting me because it's not the game. It's the same woman who does that in BBN that does that in her office.
No, it's not.
It's the same woman who does that in her office that does that on the political landscape out there. It's the same woman who does that in the community meetings, that does that in the traditional platforms. It's the same woman. And then we are all here complaining that we don't have access to enough power to be able to change our own situations, to be able to write legislation that personally addresses the issues that concern us. How is that going to happen? When the things we should not take for granted are being taken for granted. So if today you vote a sexist with your resources and the person wins BBN, how then do you tell the next woman tomorrow not to vote a sexist as the union head in her office? How then do you tell another woman not to vote a sexist as the chairman of her community, or as the legislature, the senator, or as how do you tell? What moral justification do you have to tell anybody that no, don't do that? Let's put a woman there. Let's put someone who is passionate about feminine issues. Let's put someone who is concerned, somebody who has a voice and will use that voice to advocate, to advocate issues that concern us as women. Let's put this female there so she has the privilege of this platform, and she can use it for our own good. She can use it to address what concerns us. She can use it to what's the word? To amplify the voices of our pain. So let's put a woman there who knows what she's doing. Let's put a woman there who understands the nuances and the personal pains of women and can advocate it without bias, and can advocate it without fear, and can speak loud and courageously to issues. She can speak truth to power. Let's give her power so that we have a representation in power. They are not thinking strategically. Women want to continue to function on their emotions. So you see a woman and you have been configured to start picking her apart, and that's the first thing you find yourself doing. So it's a very difficult situation, and that is why I've said that a mental reorientation needs to occur. Because even from people you expect to know better, you find that a lot of them do not know better. They take too much for granted. A mental reorientation needs to occur. If it doesn't occur here, we can't come together as a force and fight anything. I mean, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, can two walk together except they agree? I'm talking like this, you are talking like that. Another person is talking like, we're going to all work against ourselves and against our cause. Yet, patriarchy continues to bite everybody in the ass, whether you're a feminist, whether you're not a feminist, whether even you're anti-feminist. As long as you're a woman, patriarchy is coming for you. You would have your day like every dog. You would definitely have your day. And it's something that I want us to awaken in women. It's a concern that I want us to awaken in women, so that there is such repulsion with regards to issues or people that stand for things that stand against our agenda. There should be a forceful repulsion, in as much as you don't want to project hate, but you should not be so accommodating to sexism embodied in any human, enough to be able to empower that human with your own resources. Let the men vote in if they want. But before you are anything, you are first of all a woman. Before you are anything, the first thing anybody is going to see when you walk into a room is your womanhood. It's your femininity. Before you are a pastor, before you are a teacher, before you are a lawyer, before you are a doctor, the first thing you are is a woman. And if somebody stands against your womanhood, they stand against the totality of who you are. And for you to be able to stomach that, put your hand in your pocket and back that person with your resources, shows that we have a very, very long way to go. And it makes a lot of us who are on this advocacy journey very tired. Because, I mean, when you find yourself fighting with the same group of people who you are fighting to protect, it does something to your mind. It does something to your mind. You start to think, like, am I crazy? I'm trying to protect you, and you are fighting against me. You are fighting against statements and pronouncements and advocacy that protect you. You're fighting the person who is doing that. It's too much. If we say, I used to be a big believer in affirmative action, but who is going to give that? Oh, let there be quotas for women in every level of government. Let there be quotas for women in all parastatals and bodies, regulatory bodies, you know, that wield a lot of power. Let us have quotas. And when I say quotas, I mean it's not necessarily an issue of election. If this party is coming into power, they're going to say, okay, for all our commissioners, there's going to be a 45% female slot. So which means at any given point in time, it's going to take a female to fill that spot. We don't, it's not even, the slot is not open for men. If 55% is filled up with men, then then it doesn't matter how qualified that man is. We would have to look for a qualified female to fill the 45%. Because you need to make categorical steps to be able to push women into these spaces. If a gender has been deprived of power over a long period of time, they do not possess the prowess to fight the people who have held on to power for so long. Look at PDP and APC, for example. PDP had been in power in Nigeria for many years. When APC wanted to take power, it needed to break open spaces within PDP and take people, suck in people into itself from PDP, in order for it to empower itself to be able to get into the federal spaces, thereby defeating PDP as a party. That is an example of what we have with the male and female dichotomy. You have a situation where the males have held power for so long. Power naturally gravitates towards them, and they have created a structure that makes certain that the bulk of finances, the bulk of power, the bulk of influence naturally flows in the direction of men. Women do not even understand how exactly to even be in those spaces. We're still trying to learn because we're not even allowed to conceive that, to dream that we should be in such spaces. And you want these women now, with this limited amount of resources and all of that, to be able to battle those men and be able to take as many seats as a man will possibly take. It's not going to be possible. Any government that is serious about, gender equality would have to introduce affirmative action to its policies. That's the starting point. Create seats at the table for women. Create those seats. Shut your eyes and create those seats. Don't tell me, oh, it's a level playing field. Why are you now asking? You said you are equal to us. So why are you asking for hand-me-downs? No, it's not hand-me-downs. If you have been oppressed over the years and you've taken advantage of another, you have parasitically taken advantage of a gender over the years, it only makes sense that in trying to reverse that abnormality, that wrong, that offense, that you create room, you step back and you create room in order to create balance. It is not us asking for hand-me-downs. It is us asking for what we are entitled to, having been subjugated for too many years. This is the case even with racism. An average man will understand this with racism. But when you talk about feminism, he won't understand it. When you're talking about the black and white issues, and you're hearing blacks saying, create spaces for us at the table, because a lot of these countries were built on the backs and the labors of our forefathers. A lot of the wealth of this country were taken from African countries and moved to your countries to empower your countries, to enrich your countries. So you have a duty in trying to correct the wrong, to create room, to create spaces that include us, that empower us. It's you giving back from that thing that you have been stealing from for too long. Now, that is not us asking you for hand-me-downs. That's not us asking you, oh, you said we are equal, now you want us to treat you with as if you are unequal. You want us to give you gloves. No, 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 no. You have taken from us for too long. So affirmative action is, in my opinion, the way that a lot of women get to this table. But which government is going to do that? You see these boys' clubs we have? They are not interested. We do not have feminist forward men who are in leadership positions. And like Emilia rightly pointed out, even the females who get into political positions or even office leadership positions do not represent us appropriately.
I agree.
So the only way is to keep talking. It's to keep talking, it's to keep instigating our agenda. It's to keep empowering them with knowledge. It's to keep telling them that there is nothing like it's just a game. There is nothing like, oh, it's just a... Stop making excuses to empower the patriarchy. Stop making excuses for the patriarchy. Just the same way we even do not allow sexist jokes. Don't even joke about it. Yes. It's comedy. No, we don't want to hear it. We know it's no, but it's just a joke. No, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it as a joke. We don't want to hear it as seriously. We don't hear it as a serious pronouncement. We don't want to hear it as a backhand pronouncement. We don't want to hear it as an underhanded pronouncement. We don't want to hear it in your character and your demeanor. We don't want to hear it. It's not a joke. So it's not just a game. It's not just anything. Nothing is just anything. If we are serious, we will snuff it out anywhere we see it. In any way, shape, or form it represents itself, we will snuff it out. We will not stand behind it. We will not project it. We will not use our resources to fund it if we are serious. And until then, we are not ready. We can feminist talk all the way we want on our walls. But if you are a feminist and you're using your wall to project a sexist, you don't have anything to say. You don't have any, you have no justification for it anywhere in the world. You can twist and turn your words all you want, but you don't have any justification for it. You are biting yourself in the ass. You are shooting yourself in the foot. That's what you're doing. And you're making light of something you said to yourself matters deeply to you. Something that you said runs down to your core. Something you said is the foundation of every value that you respect. A lot of you have shunned religion because of sexism. You have shunned some family members because of sexism. You have walked out of jobs because of sexism. You have walked out of friendships because of sexism. You have left marriages because of sexism. And then you use your resources to empower a sexist and go to your wall to defend it. You are biting yourself in the foot. You're just making a fool of yourself, really. There is no explanation for it. We cannot create room for excuses. So for
No
me,
justification at all.
that's the point where we start making sense here.
Wow. Wow, Esiri, wow. This time we have is not enough to
Never
exhaust,
enough.
never enough with to
Never.
exhaust this issue. But like I said, um, we are working on the plan to have our first Straight Talk with Oma first digital women conference. In our little way. We will start from our little way or from our own strength using the resources. We have great resources. Esiri, you are an amazing resources. So
Thank you.
we have absolute great resources. We have you, we have Emilia, we have um we have women and we have the elderly ones who are very matured and poised to give us the right information. Those who want to
Yes.
be helped, those who want to be helped, because there's one thing to want to help and another for somebody to desire to be helped. I want to thank you so specially for, within the short notice, accepting to come on our show today to speak to us. Very, very interesting. Like I told them, I said, I know tonight will be exhilarating, expository, and very, very educative. So, and I don't think we've lost or we missed any of those. Rather, the time we have has not allowed us to take as much as we would want to. I would have loved to just sit and listen to you for like 3 hours talk. And I want to thank the United Nations for the theme for this year, the digital generation, our generation. I want to thank them. And for every girl child watching, you have the platform, you have the biggest platform to let your voice be heard. I will say again, being silent in the face of injustice is not being respectful. It's not, there's nothing virtuous about it. There's nothing decorum about being silent in the face of injustice to another woman or to yourself as a woman. You have the right to speak. You have the right to be heard. You have the right to be seen. You have the right to be seen. And I want to thank everyone who has stayed with us. Chidi Sam, thank you so much. Thank you, Glory Ifunanya. Thank you so much, Ifunanya. And I'm looking forward to having you. You are another incredible writer. Ifunanya is another incredible writer. Oh my God. You know her. Glory Ifunanya.
Yes, yes, I do. We are friends on Facebook, yes.
Yes, Glory is an incredible writer and a medical doctor. I don't understand. You guys have time. Lawyers and medical doctors have enough time to actually write. It's amazing. Thank you, Nenna. Thank you so much, Nenna, for joining us today. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Glory. Thank you, Ajayi. Thank you so much, Koti. Thank you, Theodora. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, everyone who has joined us tonight in celebrating the International Day of the Girl Child. Thank you so much. And please use your platform to propagate and promote the cause of the girl child, especially on this side of the divide. Thank you and have a fantastic night. Esiri, thank you and thank you and thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you
night.
so much for having me. I had a great time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, darling. Bye.
Bye.
Whoa. Thank you, everyone. And I hope you had a fantastic time too, like I did. Bye, and God bless you.